joining me again. I'm out again today. It's an okay day. The weatherman said 60% cloud, and I would say no, that's 99.9. So good job there, meteorologist. I know it's not always possible to get it right, but never mind. Wind-wise, I'm slightly down from the peak of a hill, although I am on a prominence, which is where I want to be. The unfortunate problem I've got is this is a tree, obviously. So I'm going to have to take off, come out and up, and then obviously make sure I move when I'm doing it so I've got line of sight. But it's a pretty sensible area. This is the River Wansbeck, goes around all the way over here. Then there's I think St Mary's Magdalene Church over there. I think that's Church of England denomination. Nice old church there, and there's a castle over there from the 11th century, so it goes way back. I'll stick some stuff in the description so you can have a little read about it, because it's quite interesting. There's not a lot left. I have done, let me have a think. Oh yes, right, that video there, I went from Morpeth all the way to Mitford Castle and had a look inside and made a cuppa. So, boosh, get rid of that. Woo, right, that's gone. Right. So anyway, let's get on with it. Let's stop messing about. So I've just got the little Mini today. That's all I need. Boom, boom. There's some cows over there, which I will do my best to ignore. And because the grass is a bit clumpy, I'm going to do a hand takeoff. So we'll pop that there for now. And then let's see. So I will get it to record. I'll record you, recording me, recording that and all that rubbish. So we'll do that. So I'll do it in 4K 60. Right, that's recording, and I want you to see the pilot's view. So I'll put the pilot's view down the bottom. So we'll record that. Perfect. Right, let's get this up in the air. Let's stop messing about. So, how do you do that? Well, firstly, you need to pick it up. So, let's get it on the hand there. So there it is on the hand. So I'm going to do a takeoff now. There is a tree above me, so I need to bear that in mind. So looking at the pilot's view, you see on the top right of that, there's two red icons. One is saying 4 at the moment, which is the number of satellites. I'll give you a little move around here while we're doing that. And the other one is obstacle avoidance, which is turned off at the moment, but as soon as it goes into the air, that will change. So with 5, 6, I wouldn't recommend taking off with just 6, because you won't get a valid home location. And if you did need to return, you've got problems then, haven't you? So where are we at now? We are at 7 on the top right there. Is that 9? 9. I think as soon as it goes over 10, or it might be 11, I'm not sure. It's gone down to 8, I can't believe it. Let's come out a bit. So I'll come away from the camera. So we've got a bit of clear sky there. So 10. So we're now on 10. So much better. So get those props started, and I'll come closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got it on the hand there, and then I'm just going to stick up. Now bear in mind, I need to be careful. So I'm going to take this out and up. So let's do that now. So up and out, away from the tree. And I'm going to come over here, and then boom, right up, because there is a power line I need to avoid as well. So I want to get plenty of height. Right, so let's see what we're looking at here. So let's gimbal down. So if I turn around, right there in the middle, that's something I need to avoid. That is a power line. There are 3 wires there, which I must avoid at all costs. So that's why it's quite important sometimes to come and do a recce. You need to know these things. I don't want to cause any problems. I don't want to get on anyone's nerves. I don't want to annoy wildlife, anything like that. So I know some people say that's overkill. Oh, your videos, you're too careful. Well, I'd rather do that than cause a problem. And you can see the transformer box there. So I am to the left. I am under there. You can see the H on the pilot's view at the very bottom of the screen in the central region there. That's the H, that's where I am. So if I move forward or back, you will see, let's get a lot more height here. I want to be well out of the way of any farmland, animals or anything like that. Right. This is a right of way. I did check. There is a red path which comes directly to here. So this is a public right of way. Okay, so of interest down there, which I think I covered in my last video, not last drone video, but last video in this area, that there, I need to come far right. I want to be well away from that power line there. So that there is an old bunker from World War II. So it's a concrete structure, not very big, but what it allows is, so on the left there, there's a way of getting in that. Now to the right, and I'll come away so you can see, there's like a little cubby hole that you can fire out of if you were in the war there. There, so if we do that, gimbal up a little, up, and then I'll zoom in so you can get a nice view. there is a little hole there, foxhole, so you can fire from there, and I'll zoom out. So if you look at that angle, you would fire out and it would allow you to cover the river down there. So any attacking troops that came in from the coast, so the coast, looking at that view there now, to the right you would have the, well, it's a river one spec, it bears right anyway, it wiggles about, but it bears right towards the coast and the North Sea. So that allows you to cover that, and there's a little bit of a crossing there that farmers use. It's more of a ford though, because it's semi-submerged. And then following it over, and near here, there's actually a main road. So if I gimbal way up, that's not the main road there, that's a small road which connects Morpeth and parts of Mitford. The main part of Mitford being to the left. I'll give you a slow gimbal round so you can get a nice look. There's a little bridge there. There's Mitford there. Beautiful little place, very quiet, very nice. Beautiful. And then over here you have another section. And then you have the Mary Magdalene Church, which I will gimbal up to give you a look at. We'll zoom in. I mean, I'll go over and have a look. I'll try and stay away from people's houses or for obvious reasons. There you go. And then behind that is Mitford Hall, I think it may be called, which was owned by some footballer type. I don't watch football. I think it's, you know, not my cup of tea. But correct me in the comments section if you know who that is. And you can see the clouds almost like 100% today. And the actual ruins of the castle are over there. So let's pop over there. I want to get plenty height, so let's take it to 100. Take it to 100, and I'm going to bear slightly left, and the reason being is someone's garden there. I don't want them thinking I'm spying on them. I'm certainly not, but sometimes people see a drone and automatically, and it's 2 miles away or something, and they automatically assume, they're looking at me, and it's not the case. I think people need to calm down a bit. Right. Let's blast over there. Now I have line of sight here, and I will not take it over a certain range today. Right, so as you can see there, I have it locked. So bottom left on the pilots view, seeing it's in 120, it will not allow me to go any higher than that. I have that purposefully locked so I don't break any rules. So we'll come down to 100. I just wanted to show you that feature there. That's why I went over the 100. There, we're at about 100, and we'll pop over there. So not too far. Bearing in mind, we're only 40-ish metres away. I'm actually going over my head at the moment. So if bottom left there, you've got the 103 height, but then you see 23 metres. That's how far the drone away is from me, so it's not very far at all. You can see that car there. Let's have a quick look at that car. So I'll gimbal down. He's travelling through Mitford there. Nice and slowly. So Mary Magdalene Church to the right there, and actually I can feel the wind getting up a bit. It was supposed to go no higher than 15 miles an hour, which is well within tolerable levels of this craft. Okay, so let's turn and have a look at this castle. So there's not a lot left of it. I know a mate went camping on there, and I think he got told off because I don't know whether you can or you can't. It's right of way, I guess, that I'm aware of. Or it was years ago when I went. There was no signs saying don't or keep off or any of that. And you can actually get to the bottom section where there's like a vaulted sort of cellar. It's not completely covered in, it's open at one side. So I'm moving and gimbling here, that's why it looks like we're not moving very much. I think that might be the section there, yes. So I'll come to the right. So I'm moving to the right here, and then I'm rotating left. Use that yaw to bring it round. You can see the sheep there on the field to the right there, but I don't know if they go up into that taller section. So there's not a lot left of that. I think that's a real shame, that. Let's get a little bit closer. So we'll come over. And as long as I can see where that is, let me have a look here. Okay, we're over there. So I'm going to move myself slightly because there's a tree slightly in my way. That's better. So if you hear me scuffling around, I have to do that. It's part of the visual line of sight rules. So yeah, I've actually sat and had a coffee in that section there. Let's zoom in. So there's a top section there on the bottom. In fact, we'll come down a little. I need to be careful for a signal. There you go, much closer. So we're still about 80-ish, we'll take it about 75. And then we will rotate, actually we'll do a rotation around that. So what I'll do is I'll go to tracking mode on the left. Now focus track, it picks by default. So what do I want to focus on? So if you look at the pilot's view, see I'm drawing a green box there. So I'm going to draw that with preference slightly to over here. There. And it's saying, right, I see what it is that you want, but I'm not going to GPS lock it yet. Okay, so how do you get it GPS lock? Now you can see it's a green box with just an X. So if I move to the right, it will retain the view to have that in the middle, but watch what happens. It forces that, it goes, okay, now I understand, I see where that is, right, and then there, boom. Now I've got the GPS lock exactly where I want it. So with that in mind, I've got various modes. I've got spotlight at the minute, so no matter how I move this drone, so let's say I move to the right, it will always do the job of keeping that in the middle. If I rotate to the left, it's going to do the same. Let's try to the left. If I try and move forward, like that, see how it's gimbling down to compensate for that? There's going to come a point when it can't gimbal down anymore though, and it's going to have to rotate. So there is limitations to that. You know, the gimbal can't go all the way around. It's not like a 360 security camera. And if I come back from it, so if I peel off from that target there, boom, 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 and it's doing the gimbal work. So normally I would have to change that. So I think we're at a nice sensible distance there. So we'll bring it back a little bit more. There you go, so we can get plenty in. I'll bring it down a touch. Although top right of that view there is a tall tree, but I think we're well off that. We're 66 meters in the air. So let's go for point of interest. So I've got some, now it's saying stop there. That's just if you did want to stop. I don't. So point of interest, now you've got a little toggle button here. So I can toggle it to the right. You've got slow, then fast, then super fast. So if I go right and let go of that, it's now going to go to the right, it's going to do all the gimbal work, all the rotation work, and it's going to maintain that in the middle. Now as a pilot, I need to keep an eye on that tree. I know that that is the highest tree there, so am I in any danger of hitting that? I don't think I am. So, but these are just things, you can't just go, right, time for a pint of lager, hey, take that shot for me. You really need to be keeping an eye on what the drone's doing, because as intelligent as they are, you know, the computers make mistakes, we all know that. And I can feel the wind getting up here. It's a real shame the sun isn't out. That's a great view, that there. So you're going to get the church in a moment. Now that would be the church where it's just out of shot. So how do I get that in shot? Now the problem I've got here is, so if I stop that, is that tree. Because if I come down, will I hit it? So what you do is, I'm going to come away. So we'll come away there. See how, the more I come away, the more the gimbal has to do the job. Now that's going to get the church in, and I think that's a more epic shot. So if I do that and then say, right, now do point of interest, and in fact go left while you're at it, I think that's a better shot. I could bring it down even more if I wanted to, but again, I need to be careful in the height on obstructions there. I have checked this out, and I've checked various different maps just to be careful, and there are various power lines, but they're well down there. So that's not a particularly good shot, is it? It's going slower because obviously it's further away, so there's a greater distance for it to cover when it's going around the circumference of that imaginary circle. And if you did get lost, you can have your map on. You see how I've got the map on there? So if I go to full there, you can, and I will zoom out a bit. See how that blue is showing you exactly what I have done. It's showing you where I came from. There's the home point. It's like that. So if I now stop this, so if I go back to this and stop, I think that's an okay shot there. Or if I want to take a photograph, I can just press and hold that and click there. Yeah, there's various different modes, which I'm not going to go into on this video because people get bored and they just want to see the scenery and stuff. So I'll go back to that. So I'm going to take that lock off. So I'm just going to press it there. Now we're at 470 meters away. So I'm kind of pushing it for range. So I'm going to come back. So how do I do that? Well, the quickest way is I can use the map. I can say, well, look, where am I? So let's look on the map. So if I go forward, I'm going to come back, aren't I? So if I just press forward, I'm going to do this. I'm certainly looking on the bottom left there, but look how, see how the distance is now becoming more sensible? Because I wouldn't want to take it any more than about 470-ish. And then I need to rotate slightly to the left, which I'm doing. I'm doing this all by eye on the map. There you go, boom. And I can see the little H, and then I'm rotating slightly. So you do have that ability, and you do have the different modes. You can have satellite and all of that good stuff. I don't have it connected to my phone, but I can do that. So just to show you how that would link in. So if I go to my phone now, and we're at 50% battery there, so we're perfectly safe. So I open my phone just to make sure that I have my hotspot on. It wasn't on, silly me. There, it's on, I've got 5G. So if I then say to this, I'll say, right, come down here, right, Wi-Fi, let's get connected here. Now, is it connecting? It's not, is it? Ah, Wi-Fi, there you go. So there you go, there's mine, boosh, connected, bang. Right, so we're now connected to that. So if we go back and back and then back again, if it lets me, please let me go back. See, I'm used to, there you go, there you go. I'm used to gestures now. I don't use the standard buttons on the bottom now, I go for gestures. So let's see where we are. There you go, and see how it's loaded in there. So that gives you, that's something that's a lot more recognisable for people if they don't know the area. So you can see there's the tree where I am, and there's the river coming round, and there's the bridge. So you see it says there, Mitford Bridge, right in the middle. We are over the river now, and there is the remains of the Mitford Castle, 11th century, beautiful that there. So let's have a quick look at this river on the way back. I want to see that bridge actually, let's see if I can see that. So if I want to come out of this, just bottom left, just bang, straight back to pilot's view. And then actually I'll come out of that and I'll say to it, right, put that on standard. It's a little bit less information and more easy for me to see. So we'll go to that. Right, so theoretically, if I gimbal down, somewhere down here, there's a river. Or is it a road? There's the river. Right, so where's this bridge then? So it's certainly not down there. So you can see it's not down there. And then that travels on. Gimbal up. There's the bridge. Okay, so pretty beautiful, that, isn't it? Proper old sandstone bridge. If anyone knows the age of that, let me know. So we'll rotate around that, and I'm just doing this manually. I'm not trying to, you know, win any awards for photography here. So I am rotating and moving the drone to the left. And you can see on the bottom left of the pilot's view there, the map, you can see the blue. You can see what I'm doing. I'm creating a circle basically as I go around this bridge. And you can see there's like almost like a slab of sandstone there. There's someone's house up there. Really nice area. Quiet. I haven't seen a single person getting here. Nobody, which is amazing. Okay, so I want to go and have a look at that bunker. Let's get a bit closer to that. So, if we gimbal up, there's me over there, the H on the pilot's view. And to the left, now bear in mind, and I know this because I've recce'd it, there's already some more electrical wires. So we'll go over here, but we're well out of the way, and I'll gimbal down so you get a nice view of this river. There's the river there. Nice load of pebbles there. And a bird going past. And if we gimbal up, you will see the power lines which I want to avoid. There, that's the power line there. So what I'm going to do is, to be extra safe, I'm going to go to the complete other opposite end where I know there aren't any power lines. So I'm going to fly right the way past towards the river. So if you imagine you were an attacking force and you were at this river here. So we're perfectly safe there. Let me just double check. Yes. And my recording has stopped for some reason, so I will restart it there. Okay, so apologies for that. Right, there it is over there. As long as I can see where this drone is, I'm happy. So I'm actually looking directly at that bit there where people can walk across. Okay, so if we rotate a little bit, so in fact you can see the stepping stones. Can you see them there? I'll zoom in. So if you did want to get across and you didn't have a vehicle, you could use those stepping stones. Just don't fall off whatever you do. I'll show you that main road as well before I... Oh, there's a nice little feature there. Let's have a look at that. There's the main road in the distance. We'll have a quick look at this. I need to... Where am I? There's the road there. So excuse all the silly noise, but I must keep this in range of sight here. Right. Okay, that's better. That's better. And bring the height up so I can see. There it is. That's better. Okay. Right. So that's an interesting little feature there. So you can see that is the main A1 arterial road through this area of the northeast. You can't actually see the coast from here. I think it's far too far away. And then that goes up. And I think that is Morpeth to the right. I'm pretty sure that there is Morpeth. Let me gimbal down because the automatic exposure has gone a bit bananas. There you go. I'll slow that down a bit so it's a bit easier on the eye. So you can actually drive underneath from Morpeth. So let's go along here. Now I still have tracking on. So I'm only 100 and 200-ish meters away. Let's see if it'll track that car. I need to turn around, otherwise it's never going to be able to do that. That might be too fast, is it? No, it's doing it. There you go. Active track. So it was on spotlight, now it's on active track. It's going to try and follow that. Now I'm 83 meters, 84. Let's see if it fails. Now when it goes behind a tree, I'm guessing it may fail. Let me change my location because that's coming around there now. Okay, right, I just need to make sure. I think it'll lose it there. Watch, it's trying, it's trying. Wow, it kept it, it kept it. It's never going to keep it here, right? That's you've given it an impossible task there. It's complete coverage of, well, defilade or trees or whatever you'd want to call it. And then he's going up the bank there. Quite a nice bank if you go up there as well. So low battery, so I'm going to come straight back. So what we'll do is, I'll come back and I'll change the battery. So there's the hole, and then it's coming back, right? So I've let it there. So this green pipe there, that is the expected flight path. So that's the path it should take. Now bear in mind, I need to take corrective measures here. So remember, there was a tree, wasn't there? So it can't just come in and go straight down. That's just not possible. There's no way it would be able to do that. So what I'll do is, in fact, is there a small walking a dog there? No, they're on bikes, that's all right. So I'll come in, and I'm going to have to avoid a tree and people on bicycles. So that's nice. Oh, always fun, isn't it? There's always someone knocking about. So if I gimbal down and cancel that, and then I come along here, and then I'm going to do that myself for safety reasons. Now remember, there's an electrical wire there. So if I come down here, I can't get too close to that. So I'll come down here, and then the people on the bicycles are coming. So again, added issue that I need to deal with, but I'll keep it up there. In fact, I'll show you the guys on the bikes. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. There you go. So it's saying low battery, low battery. Well, yes, I'm aware there's a low battery, but I don't really want to annoy these people on the bike. So if they can make tracks there, that's absolutely fine. And then I'll certainly bring it down at that point. There you go. So again, 17%, but again, safety first and keep it out of the way of those people. Okay, so let's gimbal down, and we shall bring it down. Bring it on down, right. Safe now. Right. Now I can see it there, so I'm going to bring it down. Bring it down, bring it down. It's nowhere near the tree, it's nowhere near the power lines. Safety. And I'll bring it across. Now you see that beep, it's saying, now come on now, you need to get this landed. So if we come across here, and I'll just make sure my camera is recording, because as soon as it decides to turn off, it isn't, right? So bring this along. So I'm going to do a hand catch here. There, so as long as you do a recce, you know what's around you, you can do these things perfectly safe. So we'll pop that down, and I will change the cell, stick a new one in, and I'll keep recording. So I'll take that out, boosh, stick a new one in, and then we'll pop that there. I will do another hand take off, obviously. Let's get that going, because otherwise it's not going to work. So we are still recording. Is audio still going? Yes, audio's still going. Right, we're doing good. So I'll do another quick pass around along the river, and then I'll come back. So we are still recording there. Boom, 4K going. Now you can see there's satellites again. Because I've changed battery there, it's almost, for whatever reason, it's done almost like a GPS cold start. I'm not sure why. And bear in mind, we are near a tree, so that doesn't help. So if I pop this over here, it should start getting. In fact, I'll go and put it on this stump. That's ideal, that. Get it on the stump there. There you go. Right, so it's saying take off with caution. So yes, you do have to take off with caution. Turn that round so you can actually see me. Might be at a bit of an angle there, but there's me. So we are at 0 satellite. So again, I can't take off. If anything happened, your home point, you're stuffed. You've got to guess. I mean, I do know this area because I've had a look, but you know, it makes it difficult. So still no satellites. It's gone to 6 there. So don't be tempted to say, I'm just going to take off anyway. It's not really the best way to do it. 11, it's gone orange. There, home point updated. I'll wait until it goes up a bit further. 12 there. I'm happy with that. Right, so let's get this in the air. Boom. So again, I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to go off a slightly different direction. So let's put that down. And then that, it's a lot easier on the right hand, I find. Right, so I'm recording you, recording me, and all that malarkey, right? So get the props going. Right, they're going. And I'm going to face it that way. because that's where I want it to go, essentially. Okay, right, so you can see that, boom. So wind, it's not really a problem today. We are low. Obviously the higher you get, the worse the wind is, but it's not wiggling about very much, is it? You know, you can see it's pretty calm. That's doing a pretty decent job. And on the pilot's view, you'll see the red, it knows I'm there and it knows the obstruction of the trees there. So to its side, it's saying, well, hang on, I know there's something there. So let's take off now. I need to be very careful here because there is a power line. So up, 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 up. Right, well out the way of the power line, up. Right, we're off, right. Let's get that gimbal down and well away from the tree, right. Safety first, right, boom. Okay, so, any more people on bikes want to go past? No, okay, right, let's have a look at this feature on the river. Now, there's it. I'm going to do a little bit of walking here. That's what all the huffing and puffing's about. That's better, right, I've got a much better view now and I want more height. The more height, obviously the easier it is to see, even though that sounds counterintuitive because it's further away. But you don't have problematic trees and things like that. So let's see what this is. I'll take it as far as I can so it's not behind those trees and I can genuinely still see it. Yes, I can see it over there, that's fine. There's the A1 and there's that feature. It looks like some sort of, I wonder if it's one of these fish stairs or whatever they call it, which blocks the water, impedes the water, but allows salmon and things to get up with. Right, I can still see the drone. It's over there. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Beautiful. So what is that? Yeah, it looks like one of those things, because I would expect a salmon could blip up there. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything. You know, I'm always out in nature when I can, but I don't know everything about these things. I know there is a fishing club way down this river to the, if you follow it down that direction, down there, there's the fishing club, which you've got to be a member of. And then it goes, that's just a shadow there, where it drops off. Remember, I'm not watching this in 4K, you are. You've got 4K 60, I'm at 60 frames, where I'm at 1080, and I'm on a screen, and if the sun's hitting it, it becomes difficult. Right, so I'm certainly not going to track any of those because they'd be doing at least 70 on that road. But let's track this river, so it goes all the way up, and then out of sight, and then I think it bears right, and then up. You can kind of see where the trees are. That's the banks of the river, or part of it, and then it goes off into the coast there. God, it's actually pretty good visibility today. Look at that. Let me zoom in. So I can see, wow, some of the coast there. Let's zoom back out. So that's normal view there. So I was actually zoomed in a bit. There, that's a much better view. So you can take more in. So let's follow this river. If I rotate all the way around and gimbal down. So there's these stepping stones. We'll go over there. I can hear a motorbike. Now where's he going? I think he's just on the road. So is he on that road there? Can't see anyone. There's the stepping stones, aren't they? So let me move position again. So right, it's over there now. So it gets complicated. Yeah, that's the river, and then there's like a crossing point for farmers and things like that. Now what's that white? I can't see because I haven't got the best. Let me come down a bit. I'm at nearly 90 meters. That's someone's. No, I don't think it is. Is it a swan? What is that? I'll find out in the edit, I guess. Oh, I can hear a motorbike again. Is he on that road? Can't see him. Can't see him. So we'll follow the water again. So 80% battery, plenty of battery. We're at 32 meters, so I'm going to take that way up. There you go. Take it to about 50. There you go. And then I'm going to track this manually. So we need to be a bit to the right. Nice stretch of river there. I like the way those houses that end at the river. That's quite nice, isn't it? And then we'll continue to follow that. There we go. Keep going. It's a shame the sun isn't really out, so that water probably looks a bit danky and black, but it is actually quite a shallow river. I'll gimbal all the way down so you can get a good view. Yeah, so it's not one of these ones that's just full of, you know, effluents and pollution and things like that. I mean, you can see how high up we are, even though we're just at 54. You can see the birds. Let's see if we can follow this. Now, the map isn't on, so I'm going to open the map on the bottom left of the pilot's view there. That's it. It helps me orientate where I am. I mean, I'm rotating as I do this because I know where this is. I've certainly got an idea anyway. And then we'll come along. Nice stretch of river, that. You see how high that tree is. There's a load of really, really old trees here. I mean, that castle's 11th century, so bear that in mind. Now, you see the power line there? We're well above that, but just in case, we'll come up to 60. Always be on the lookout and keep as far away from things as possible. Let's speed this up a bit, and then we should come to the bridge eventually. And because of the time of year, it's still early, there's not a lot of tree cover. Some of those trees have obviously burst into life and you can see the leaves, but a lot of them, still nothing. I'll shut up a bit so you can have a nice look at this scenery. 200 odd metres away. There's a nice little bank there where you can probably get some interesting plants. I'll bear left away from this person's house. You can see on the map, if I follow that blue line, then we're going in the right direction, aren't we? So we're now only 130 metres away from my current location. So not a lot of cover, but full summer, that almost covers over with the leaves. You'll not see a lot. Now there's a walkway, so let me gimbal up a bit and zoom in. That's like a little cheeky walkway. I think I have been over the top of that. In fact, I think I did it in my Mitford video. I'm pretty sure I did. It's where I made some joke about a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that. Off the top of my head. There you go. So if I rotate again, it's now going in that direction. So we're 200 metres away, perfectly safe. There's the stone bridge for traffic, which would go into the main part of Mitford. And then I think you've got a pub up there, haven't you? Yeah, let's change the gimbal so you get a little bit more in there. That's a bit more interesting. So there's a vehicle going over. We'll get a shot of him going over. I think that's that would make for quite an interesting video. Right, he's off. And here's another one who's going a little bit faster. And then we'll follow the river again. And it goes off up there. Now, what else did I want to have a look at? I wanted to have a quick look at that church. I don't want to get too close because of the time, although there might be a service on, I don't want to get... I really don't want to annoy people, put it that way. Let's give you a little rotation around before I do that. There's the landscape. So stunning. On the pilot's view, you'll see the little H ascending the screen on the right hand side. There's me at those trees, and the sun has come out. That's beautiful. Much better. The rolling hills of Northumberland in the sun are very, very special. Okay, so I mean, that there is very interesting to me. Look, that to me would suggest some sort of earthworks. I know that's right next to the castle, so there's the castle there, and the back perimeter wall towards that, the eastern-ish part, that's the back perimeter wall there, which I'll show you. So there's a heavy suggestion straight off that to the left there, that's man-altered, obviously. I mean, it's the banks of the river. Who knows what's been done in the past? And what are those mounds? Is that some sort of earthwork? Or was that used to help defences? I don't know. I mean, the castle itself, the ground's massive. And there's a little section here. There's actually a window, I'll show you. I don't want to get too close to those sheep. So I'll come far right and gimbal down. I'll try and avoid them. There's actually a window you can still look through. Right, so if I come far right and away from them, you might be able to still see it. We're still at a sensible height. As long as they're not running around going bananas, I'm happy. Or is my memory failed me. Now I'm going to rotate around, but bear in mind there is a tall tree there and we're only at 50 metres. But you might see it, because you can actually sit and look through and see the church from that window. Ah, there it is. So I was right. It's behind those trees there in the middle. We'll move forward a little so you can see it. Yeah, so you can see, you get a fantastic view there. Yeah, that's it there. And then as you look up, so if I gimbal up, it goes across the field, past those sheep, and then eventually there is the church. There's the church there. I was just slightly off there because I'm zoomed in, but that's the church. And I can see there's cars outside, so they may have a service, so I don't want to get too close. Beautiful. Isn't that much better when the sun comes out? Let's get a 360. You might be able to hear the bird song, and I can hear the sheep. And there's a chiff chaff right in the distance there in those conifers. Right, that's lovely. So pretty unspoiled, this area. I mean, that will change. Someone will come along and spoil it. You know, they give you 19,000 types of bin and say you must protect the environment, and then they go, what's happened to that field over there? Let's smash it all down and build houses. Oh, I thought you wanted to protect the environment. I'm getting mixed messages here. Lovely. So we're at 51%. Let's come back. I'll show you the cows. I want to get plenty height. Get out of the way. You don't want to set them off running. They're massive. There's the cows, which I've come well away from. Because you'll find that a lot in this country. You'll have a right of way, so it'll be like a track where you can walk about, but you've got to make sure you stay away from livestock and things like that. Because unfortunately, and it still happens, people get killed by, you know, bulls and cows stampeding and things like that. That's very, very sad, because all they've done is try and get a bit of nature, but it does still happen. Right, so I'm going to go over here and then I'll come back. I'll show you again. So from the, actually what I was supposed to show you before and I totally forgot, now the sun's come out, it's probably a better view. If you're wondering what this is on the left, that's just feed for the cattle. So they put it in like a metal ring normally, that's just like a standard ring, and that's hay, so that's what that is. If you think, oh, has a bomb gone off there? No, it hasn't. So we'll come towards the river, and I know there aren't any power lines down there, and now I can reduce height. Still reducing height, so we're about 30ish, 40, and we'll turn around and you'll see. So if you were trying to go along that river, there's your attack point. I mean, it looks like I'm near that. I'm not, because it's just because the gimbal's way up. If I put the gimbal down to show you where I actually am, I'm well away from that wire. There you go. So we'll rotate around there a bit for you. It's actually starting to rain. How can the sun be out? I can't see. So I've got rain on my screen now. That's interesting. So I need to look around and find out where that's coming from. Not sure. Hopefully the rotors will blast that away. Ah, it's raining a bit. So I might have to, I'll bring this back once I've given you a nice shot of that. Come down a bit. I don't want to come down too much, for obvious reasons. I can see exactly where that is in front of me. It's just there. I can see it hovering over the top. So we're still massively up there, so I can definitely come down a little bit more. I'm doing this visually, not off the screen. Yeah, there it is, perfect. Right, now if I do this sensibly, I can rotate around this without knocking into trees and things like that. There, I'm staying relatively close. And the way in is just up there. There. Is it that side or the other side? I think it's the other side, yeah. So if I move over here and then rotate, you'll see it sort of goes down and in. I've got to make sure I don't hit this tree, because there's a tree near where I am. There, so that's the way in. And I don't know what that hole is on the top. I have actually stood on the top of there, and I've been inside. It's kind of derelict. As long as you've got a torch, you're all right. Okay, so I need to come way up here, so let's go way up, gimbal down, and then I'm going to come back, because I've got strange rain on the screen and I can't explain it. The sun's out and I don't know where on earth it's coming from. Sometimes in trees they'll release sap in different seasons, but it's not that season, so I don't really understand what that is. Right, I can see the drone, so I'm going to bring it back to this field. So let's rotate around. I'll bring it back and we'll have a little chatter for a laugh. Yeah, I can feel that rain. So let's get this back. Right, rotate around, get the gimbal up. So there's the trees that I was trying to avoid, because I can see them from here. There's a wasp trying to get me. So there's me. I'll give you a wave. I'm just in the middle. See me there? Right in the middle there. So boom, let's get back. So again, I'm going to avoid the tree on the right, and I'm certainly going to avoid the electrics on the left. So come along there, boom, boom, boom. And then sometimes you can think you're away from a tree and you're not. So let's get that tilted around. 31% battery, plenty cell, plenty of battery. Right, let's bring that down. And the sun's out, and I'm going to be looking right into it, which is annoying. Ah, there it is, right. So I'm going to come well out. So you'll probably see me on the 4K, and you can hear the winds actually getting up. Wow, what a difference. So there's me coming out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here with the electrical stuff on my back, so I don't have to look into the sun, and it makes it a lot easier. Right, there's the drone. So I'll bring it down. Make sure it's in normal mode, which I've just done there. Forward a bit. It's coming down. I just want to get a nice sweeping view as I come in. That's why if you think, well, where's he going? Where is he going? Ah, sorry, I had the gimbal the wrong way. There you go. There. Makes it more interesting when I come in for a landing. There. So there's me. And you can see the electrics, and it means I don't have to look into the damn sun. So we'll go forward and down. I'm going to do this completely by eye. I'm not looking at the screen. And I'm still getting a bit of rain. It's weird. And then I want to move that drone way out the way. There you go, way out the way of the electrics. There you go. It's buffeting around in the wind there. So we'll take this over towards where the camera is, and I'll do a hand landing. So there's the camera over there. So I need to dodge the cow pat, and I'm not actually making that up, there was a cow pat there. The old joke, what do you get if you sit under a cow? Well, you get a pat on the head. Okay, so take that down, boom. Now let me get a bit closer. I don't want to crash into that tree. We'll rotate it around and down. Let's change the gimbal pitch. Again, I'm doing this all by eye. That is slow because of the location. So you can see me, seeing you, seeing me and all that rubbish, and I'm on that camera. So we'll do a handstand, well not a handstand, but a hand catch. So come in carefully, stay away from this tree, and then we'll bring it down. So I'll get as close as I can to the camera without whacking it. Whee! Ah, the wind's hitting that. There you go, right. Bring it down. End of mission. Right, that was great that. So pop that down, we'll stop that recording and turn that off. Brilliant. And I'll get out the rain because there is a little bit of rain. So what do we do? Just a quick recap. So main problem I had was tree, and then there's branches. So okay, I'll bear to my left as I'm standing here, but then you've got electricity, so you've got to avoid that. So I know it's annoying, but sometimes if you just really study the maps before you do any location, even if you think, well, I know that, well, you might have known it and they might have changed it. That they go down there, then there, and there's another one over there. So you've really got to just bear these things in mind. So weather has decided get lost, so I'm going to do that. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions, stick them down below. Or if you think you want me to do more like this or less like this, just say, because you know I'm only creating stuff for people who are interested. It's not me trying to push anything. If you don't like it, well, let me know. And if you do like it, let me know. Right, thank you very much. I'm off. In fact, you know what I might do? I'm going to walk down to that little thing and get some footage for you. So goodbye. Let me just make sure I've turned this off. Right, that's off. Right, I'm away. Bye.